About a month before I even saw Hamnet in theaters, I had the unfortunate experience of being made aware of a certain controversy surrounding the release of Chloe Zhao's fifth feature film. And really, controversy is probably too strong a word. Rather, there was a simmering discourse, likely only visible to the extremely online like myself, about Zhao's choice to use Max Richter's song On the Nature of Daylight in the final, most emotional scene of the movie. If the song is unfamiliar to you by name, then you'd probably at least recognize its haunting arrangement of strings by ear. Released by the composer and producer Max Richter as a track on his 2004 album The Blue Notebooks, On the Nature of Daylight has since become something of a staple of the television and movie business. It appears in the third episode of the first season of The Last of Us, and in season 4 of The Handmaid's Tale. It can be heard in the 2006 film Stranger Than Fiction, Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island, and Denis Villeneuve's Arrival. Writing for The New Yorker, the critic Justin Chang argues that On the Nature of Daylight is a song that has grown hoary with overuse, and called Zhao's choice to deploy the familiar tune shameless. Fran Hopner, writing for Vulture, acknowledges that, for a certain classical music-aware audience member, the use of On the Nature of Daylight at the end of Hamnet may feel like something of a cheat code, speedrunning how fast an audience can start crying after so much emotional turmoil. However, as Hopner goes on to explain, Richter had actually composed original music for the end of the film, but as soon as the director heard On the Nature of Daylight, she was hooked. In fact, and I'm going to quote directly from her Vulture article here, Zhao played the song on set, on a loop over and over, throughout the 3 days they shot the final sequence of the film, building it into the foundation of Agnes's reach through time and the veil of death. By the time Richter approached Zhao with the piece he'd composed for the ending, she'd already committed to On the Nature of Daylight. As Richter says, the song's role in the film isn't just a needle drop. The use of the piece is architectural, built into the very bones of the scene. So, one camp of critics says that Zhao's use of On the Nature of Daylight amounts to emotional manipulation.
You know, some people actually craft stories. And when the story doesn't have an ending, you don't just create one out of thin air by playing music or having people give each other meaningful looks. Sure, that might manipulate an audience into thinking they're feeling something, but it sucks. Tell me what you...
The other camp insists that Zhao's use of the song remains faithful to the emotional core of the story, and, if anything, only serves to enhance an already powerful scene.
I mean, astonishingly beautiful piece of music can make an astonishingly beautiful scene. An astonishingly beautiful scene can separate a mediocre film from a masterpiece, and I'm assuming that's what you're going for. The masterpiece, big prize.
This is all to say that, long before even seeing Hamnet, my mind had already become somewhat polluted by the online discourse. By the time I actually sat down in the theater to watch the movie for myself, I knew what was coming. I knew what to expect. Through its entire runtime, I sat there in the dark anticipating the needle drop, steeling myself for the eventual emotional crescendo I'd read so much about. And when the last scene finally did arrive, and the music started playing, I still felt myself tearing up. My throat got tight. My skin felt hot. And when the credits rolled, the only sound that remained was the collective sobbing of the people around me. I'm Matt Jones, and this is another episode of I'm Not Crying. Hi, Mom. How's it going?
Great, Matt. How are you doing?
Doing well, yeah. I was just talking about how we'd had a little bit of snow here this afternoon, but it stopped.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So it looks sunny out that window.
Yeah, I mean, it's bright. There's some blue sky a long way in the distance. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's January.
How are things there?
Good. It's cool. But today's sunny. It's a Sunday in Houston, Texas. Everybody's watching football, even though the Texans aren't playing till tomorrow.
I'd heard that they were playing tomorrow. Yeah, I know. And I was recently back in Houston with you guys, and it was pretty hot for maybe the first week there.
It was. extraordinarily warm that week. Yeah. But I think the humidity was a little kinder to us. I think after you left, the humidity really kicked in for a few days. But we just got cool yesterday. We have not been cool here at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
that's good to hear.
Tonight's a nice break. Today it's a nice break.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like my familiarity with coming back around Christmas time is always, or most of the time, short sleeve weather. There have been some cooler ones.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, over the years, I remember, many warm holidays. Do you remember when you just gotten your driver's license? You were 16 and it snowed, and we were at your grandma's house, and I said, you have to drive home because you may never drive in snow again.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So that was your first time to drive in snow. Do you remember you and Allie went outside and actually made a little snowman?
Wow. I do not remember that. We were at Beverly's house.
Okay. We have photos. Yeah. Okay. House. Uh-huh.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. Yeah. And now I've, driven in snow quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. But at the time I thought you may never drive in snow again.
That's true. Yeah. It's a rare snow that you get in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can definitely recall one when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Austin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a little, weather's a little different there. Hotter in the summer, maybe, and maybe a little colder in the winter.
In Austin?
Yeah.
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 So one of the things that I sometimes talk about here that I've mentioned with you guys is that where we live now, in central Pennsylvania is kind of what I call a cinema desert. We have a local AMC, that doesn't always get programmed with movies that I would personally like to see. So coming back to Houston is a really good opportunity to go to the movies and see what's out.
Yeah, we don't go to the movies nearly as often as we should, considering the choices we have. It was great to go to the theater with you, with all of us, just because it was, it's such a great experience to watch a movie in a movie theater.
It is, yeah. I was just talking about that. I think for me, it completely changes my experience of the movie.
Yeah, there's something about it that really, I mean, the difference is, the movie we're going to talk about was we saw it in the movie theater, and then I have peeked at a little bit since.
Okay.
Just to refresh myself. And there's a difference. There's a big difference. Yeah.
And especially with the one we're going to talk about. Because it proved for me some of the things I'd been reading about how people respond to it.
How are people responding to it? I don't really get a sense of it.
I think it's going to be a big contender at the Oscars. I think what I'd talk to you about is, there was some not controversy, but, question about its usage of a certain song to make people cry. But I know I personally really liked it, and I think it's done pretty well.
I think I mentioned to you, and I paid more attention to the music this time. Yeah. I think I mentioned to you that I was totally unaware what the movie is about, but just to stick to the music part of it, I really was. Maybe it was in my subconscious, but I was really unaware of the music during the movie.
I remember you saying that.
Because there was so much silence in the movie, like background silence.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess the music subliminally maybe guided me a little bit, but the music was wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
I paid attention to it.
And just for our listeners, what movie are we talking about?
We are talking about Hamnet.
What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I shall be one of Father's players.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Brave! When shall we three meet again?
Our children's hearts beat. They smile, play.
Yeah, we're talking about Hamnet, so you're saying you didn't really have any context for what it would be about?
I did not. I knew that it was, of course, something to do with Hamlet, but I didn't know if it was about what period of time. what if it was about, was it now and they were doing the play Hamlet? I mean, I had no idea. I just knew Hamlet would be involved in some way.
Okay. Yeah, you really went in with no context. Yeah,
None.
You got off work, rushed from work directly to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
And for our listeners, what is Hamnet about now that you've seen it?
Hamnet is about, creativity and an expression of grief. It didn't start out that way, but that's what I'm left with, and the resilience maybe of the human spirit.
Yeah.
It was very touching. It's about a lot. It's about family. The time period it was set in, of course, the family dynamic was different.
Yeah.
There were extended family members involved. Probably for most people, I think people stayed where they grew up.
Yeah.
And had their own families, and to have a dream, or just knowing that you might have a dream, was probably not really much of an option in those circumstances.
Yeah. I think what we're seeing is like a rarity depicted, especially since it's about, it's tangentially about William Shakespeare.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But not that he is the main focus.
No, but he's, of course, got a big role and is able to, and really steers a lot of the direction of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I definitely want to talk about Hamnet, but I'm also curious, what other movies did we go to see in the theater while I was back?
Okay, we saw Marty Supreme.
Let me ask you something. Do you make money at this little table tennis thing?
Not yet.
Do you have a job?
No.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw The Secret Agent. Gosh. Let me think. I know we saw I'll Kick You When You're Dead. No, I would kick you if I had legs.
If I had legs, I'd kick you. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That movie was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. Also one about, moms and children and grief.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on the name of the movie. It's, I think I made notes on that to see, so I wouldn't forget the movies I saw while you were here, because, I wanted to remember their names because I'm terrible at it. Let's see.
Yeah, we watched A Little Prayer.
It's Patty.
Stop screaming at me, for Christ's sake.
Did she leave him again? She brought her metal detector. She left him.
Damn it to hell.
Oh, yes.
It was a great one.
Would highly recommend that.
Yeah, same. Probably one of my top 10. We watched Running Man.
It's the biggest show in the country.
Bloodlust is our birthright.
Running Man. Entertaining.
Entertaining, yeah.
Let's see.
I think we watched quite a few.
We did. We did watch quite a few, and I'm sorry, I can't find it in my notes. I don't know what I.
Yeah, I saw you.
I made a
note
list
on your phone. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, I saw you type out. I think it auto-corrected Marty Supreme to Marty Superior about 3 times.
It did. And actually, would that not have been an appropriate name for that movie too?
Oh, sure. I think that would work equally well.
I can't find my notes. I don't know, but we did see quite a few movies.
Yeah, we saw a lot, and Hamnet was the last one we saw in theaters while I was there.
Yeah. Hamnet, I really enjoyed Marty Supreme. I thought that was really, really well done. This movie, to me, was really almost near perfect.
Yeah. You mean Hamnet?
Yes. I just felt that they covered every possible part of a movie that you could focus in on and find something that was done so well.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a beautiful movie. And I know Dad felt the same way. He walked out at the theater and he was like, Marty Supreme is a 9 out of 10. Hamnet is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. He didn't say that to me, but I do agree with that. And it was very emotional.
Yeah. So did you, and I can speak to the people sitting next to me in the theater. I know that they were crying. Did you cry during Hamnet?
More than once.
Oh, wow. So when throughout the movie did it really get to you?
Well, of course, I don't know. Does it matter if I mention the plot?
No, yeah, you can mention it. Yeah.
Okay. There was certainly the part where, Hamnet, passes into the beyond. And her reaction was just, agonizing to watch. A mother who was so desperately trying to save her daughter and did everything in her power without recognizing that her son, also needed to be cared for. And I don't think it was due to her, anything she did or didn't do. I think that, a little poetic license there maybe in how that happens. But her response was, I can't imagine a mother not having that response,
Oh, yeah.
Especially considering he had not been ill and her daughter had. It was a total shock to her. She did not have time to prepare or to try to save him or make him more comfortable. She was just really caught in a really desperate situation.
Yeah, I think we may have talked about this a little bit. It felt very much like Jessie Buckley's movie, who plays Agnes, like Shakespeare's wife. It really her role felt like the complete anchor for me.
That's exactly right. She, Will, so much of what he's doing is off screen. They know what he's doing, they know where he is, but he's not there. And she has to handle it. And for whatever reason, for the reasons, of course, also sad, where, her mother-in-law became her ally.
Yeah.
Who, in the beginning, had no intention of that, I believe. But she found, I think, that Agnes was a very, very good mother and a good wife. And that was just agonizing to watch. And she did such a good job with that. And then, moving on from the moment that Hamnet, or Hamnet, I have to call him Hamnet, leaves and he's behind the sheer curtain of life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's like beyond the veil.
Yeah, he is. And he's done what he's promised to do, which is to be brave. He made his father a promise to be brave, to take care of the family, but he promised to be brave. And he's a little boy and he screams for his mom because he's so frightened. But he pulls himself together and resolves to be brave. And he's wandering in that orchard sort of behind the veil. And the darkness is waiting for him. And he can't he knows that will be over. It will be over if he goes into the darkness. And in the meantime, she's trying to care for him. And finally, it fades to black when he's gone. So that was also really wrenching. It was really
I think wrenching is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to watch a child. What a good actor, right?
Oh, yeah. You mean the kid who played Hamnet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually think I read, so the actor, when they're in the Globe Theater playing on stage, who she reaches out to, that's Hamnet's real life older brother.
Really?
I think I read that. Yeah.
Well, when they were doing the rehearsal and Shakespeare is being so exacting with him and making him repeat and repeat and repeat, he's being so hard on him. Yeah. And finally he does the soliloquy and to show him I think he meant to show him how it should be done. But I think what it was is he needed that release to say it. So, well, I don't know. Should we talk about the end of the movie? I don't know.
I feel like, the end of the movie is that's the really, really grand moment.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much more about the movie though, that is, that is interesting and deep. The whole family connection. When Shakespeare left, when they went outside to do the play that Shakespeare had done with the kids to show their mom. Yeah. And then he and Hamnet are having a play sword fight. And when he leaves when Shakespeare leaves to go back to London and Hamnet is swinging the sword alone, it's just, it's very touching. And Agnes goes to him and tells him what she sees for him.
Show me your hand.
What do you see?
I see you grown and very strong. And I see you in London working with your father.
In the theatre?
At the playhouse.
What will I be doing?
What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I shall be one of the players with a sword.
Sword?
Yes.
And, when he dies, I think she believes that she no longer has the ability to see the future for people by holding their hand, because she says, when Will says, "What do you see for me?" and she says, "Nothing."
Yeah.
I don't know if she was trying to suppress it or if she just truly believed she no longer could do that. But then it turns out that when they're at the theater, that she is seeing Hamnet be the swordsman in the play. And it was so touching the way the movie brought it all together at the end. When that actor, when he reached his hand out, I have to say that was so surprising. You can hear my voice. I mean, it was so touching the way that they were able to make it seem real, that, all of the audience would reach their hands out back to him. It was just an amazing moment to me in a movie.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it was huge. You can, it's kind of like even talking about it is kind of a chills thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a great culmination of like everything that the movie has been building toward, because you're right, like Jessie Buckley, her character Agnes I don't know. Yeah. I think maybe she's either lost the ability to see the future, or she can't access it. And she's kind of just stuck in this like terrible, eternal present of grief. And then getting to see this play that her husband is made, she's able to, I guess probably in the same way that William Shakespeare is in the movie, like able to kind of process what has happened.
Yes, because when her child died, there was no warning.
Yeah.
There was just no warning. I think the best thing was that she felt she was able to say goodbye in the theater. And I thought the way that behind the veil was the orchard with the berry tree, and even they all thought they saw a berry tree at some point. And then at the theater, it was what they saw.
Yeah.
It was, and the crow was, of course, also a thread in the movie that was, they did a really nice job of carrying that thread through.
Yeah.
The way that it gave, it gave Hamnet something to hold on to from when he was alive.
Oh yeah.
When he saw the crow. And then of course Will saw the crow right after. And I believe, I'm not sure if Agnes saw it. I think Agnes might have seen it too.
Yeah. I think the ending that you're talking about there, when the actor kind of incidentally reaches his hand out and Jesse Buckley reaches back and everyone reaches back. That's, to go back to what you mentioned before, that's the moment that song Max Richter's On the Nature of Daylight plays.
I think, was that the violin piece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, you saying we walked out and I was like, oh, that's the song people have been writing about. And you were kind of like, what song?
I was so in that moment. I was just so in it that I don't know. I think if anybody had talked to me, I wouldn't have heard them.
Yeah. I'm sure. And I remember telling you, I mean, I didn't look over, I could kind of sense it, but even the people to my right, the guy had kind of been texting under like his little, blanket fort, was like openly sobbing.
Well, I will tell you that on the second round, Dad and I were both, crying.
Oh, it got you.
Again. Yes. Not as as emotionally, but still, it just was still touching. Yeah. Just that whole experience of what she goes through at the theater was really, the healing was just really touching.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a movie that I want to see again.
I would suggest it. It was great to see it again. It was. It was just the little pieces, especially since I think I mentioned to you, I really was unaware that when Will was Will, that he was William Shakespeare. It just didn't even occur to me that was William Shakespeare. I thought there was going to be a Stratford part of the movie at that point, and then there would be a London part of the movie.
Yeah.
And no.
I was going to say, I think there's a spectrum of context that you can go into for a movie, and you were definitely at the far end of the spectrum for having no idea. Everything was
discovery.
Yeah.
Everything.
Which can be a fun place to be when you go to see a movie.
Oh yeah, it was. Maybe I enjoyed it more than I would have if I'd known about it. Sometimes when you know the plot points and what's coming, you're a little more prepared. But this was, I hate even saying what happens because I don't want people who haven't seen it to experience it with the knowledge of what's coming.
I will spoiler alert this one.
Yeah.
I should probably be doing that. So then how would you quantify, how would you rate your crying reaction to this movie the first time you saw it on the Baden-Hop-Fletcher lacrimation scale?
Well, I would say the part where Hamnet dies, that was definitely like between a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
Because I was really just, I have no idea why I care about people seeing me cry in the theater. The last scenes of the movie, I would say I was over a 4.
Oh, wow. So over upheaval.
Yeah, I had tears coming down my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big response.
It was a big response. I'd say last night, when we watched it again, I feel like that scene, I was probably still between a 2 and a 3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a big response for me. It was just, the whole idea of her at that period of time, of, raising this family and having to protect against a plague when, the mother-in-law, when she tells her story about the 3 children she lost, her 3 daughters, you realize and tells the older daughter, Judith? No, Susanna? Susanna was the older daughter. Judith was the younger. When she tells her, to be grateful for every breath a child takes, because it can be taken at any moment. They can be taken at any moment, and to, appreciate every smile and every word and every action that they do, because they can be gone. It was, it was hard to think that would be in context in another part of the movie.
Yeah. And I think Agnes and the mother-in-law, they do end up bonding kind of over that those shared obstacles and hurdles of being like a mother at that time.
Exactly.
Like, she sees Agnes experiencing those same things, and I think can just respect or sympathize with the fact that, like, that's how it is.
Yeah, she was more willing to accept fate. Agnes was not. Agnes was not going to, when the midwife or the neighbor, whoever it was helping her during the birth of the twins, says, and they believe that Judith has passed, says it's unlucky for a mother to hold their baby that has died. And she says, I don't care about that. Give me my baby. That was, Agnes was, I guess, ahead of her time. Although the movie did have that, it did have that little bit of, what's the word, mystical? Like, you're allowed to bring a little of that into that movie.
Certainly, yeah. There's that whole element of people really believe Agnes was born of a forest witch, and she's super devoted, but she's still very much of the time to where it's like no one knows exactly how to prevent the plague or spread.
Right.
So she's doing the best she can with the knowledge she has.
Desperately trying to save her daughter and her son when she could, but she was so caught off guard. And truthfully, there was nothing she could do, because it was Susanna who said, "Can't you see? He's gone." And that's when she stopped.
And I think you mentioned this after we saw it together, was about, just, I think, movies where with kids dying being like a big trigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really want to see movies where children are threatened or die. I don't want to see movies really where the same thing, even for pets. I don't like that. I feel it's too easy to get that response from people. I didn't feel like that with this movie. I think because the movie itself felt pure.
Interesting. Like pure in what sense? Like pure of heart, pure of intent?
I think pure of intent. I know you mentioned about music guiding your way to the emotional buildup, and that's true. You do. It's, of course, when there was ominous music in the movie too. But I wasn't ever afraid during the ominous music. I just, kind of thought, well, here we go. I don't know, pure in that the storyline was of its time. I hadn't considered, of course, I had no idea what the movie was about, that they would bring that part of history into the movie. But it should have been brought in because it was real. This wasn't, I don't know, it didn't feel manufactured. It felt like that's what was going on. But like when Shakespeare went into London, and of course you could see them hauling away the dead bodies.
Yeah.
That was, the warning that illness is ahead. So someone in that village in Stratford, or a lot of people, I would assume, would have gotten ill. But it just felt like it was just part of the time, and it fit the storyline and wasn't just manufactured to make a plot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like as much as it's like, it's based off of this novel, so it's kind of a work of historical fantasy, but there's that there's that element of truth that I think allows it to be I mean, I guess it's in some ways clinging to what we know about William Shakespeare's life, about him having a twin that does die.
Right.
But then also, it doesn't feel like it was put in there to like trick you into being sad. It felt very much integral to the entire thing.
Yeah, it seemed that it would have. I mean, it was part of the actual story of his life.
Yeah.
Some of the other stuff is, you're right. I mean, some of the music, that it does take you deeper into your emotions, but as in the end. But there was quite a bit in that movie that I thought was surprising for the time. They go into the conflict between the families, the stepmother not having a good relationship with Agnes, but by meeting and knowing Agnes and her brother, you recognize how much Agnes lost when her mother died.
Yeah. That all comes back around.
It does. And she had raised them to be very, kind people. And she lost a lot when her own mother died. And I guess the flashbacks were, sad for her, and made her frightened.
And I think one of the reasons I was thinking about kind of what you said about, finding it hard to watch movies, I guess, where kids are like threatened or in danger or die, is that it was taking me back to, and maybe some of this is intuited, but it was taking me back to that there was this large, national survey between 1930s and 1960s in Britain called Mass Observation. And one of the studies they did was about, and I think there were only around like 300 respondents, but one of the things they did in 1950 was they issued a questionnaire that asked people if they'd ever cried in the cinema. And the results were very gendered. And a lot of men tended to cry at displays of like patriotic pride or, fighting back tears. And a lot of the women respondents, like one of the big things that they talked about was seeing children or animals like abused or hurt on screen.
Well, maybe.
And to me, that goes across gender. Like those are things that when I see them in a movie, I think they tend to trigger me. But I was thinking about it with what you said at Hamnet, because shortly after I left Houston, Vulture ran a piece called A Parent's Guide to the Sick and Dying Children of Awards Season, talking about the number of movies this year that are going to be up for Oscars that have that as in some way integral to the plot.
That's interesting. What particular movies did they mention?
Well, I know I haven't seen all of them. Hamnet's on there. I think there's the Testament of Anne Lee, which we haven't seen. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is on there.
That's
yeah. Yeah. Die My Love is on there, which we watched together.
Yeah, Die My Love.
Yeah.
That was hard.
It offered a perspective that I hadn't, necessarily thought about as like a trend.
Gosh, I hate to hear that it's a trend, but when you put it like that, I guess we did see quite a bit of that. I think with the I'll Kick You movie, that was hard to really even, they keep you hanging on that about the child,
Yeah.
right? You don't really know what to expect. I'm not going to say what happens, but and Dime I love.
Yeah.
That's I hadn't really considered the child at risk, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess there was always a little bit of a chance, but it didn't seem like the child to me was at risk for the most part.
I would agree. Yeah. I don't think the child didn't feel at risk to me in that movie. I guess more broad, maybe we could call it like, and I don't think this is I guess I don't think it's a trend in this, but I think a lot of movies that we saw over the break about like the trauma of motherhood.
That's true. And maybe I don't think motherhood itself is necessary to feel when a child is endangered, anxiety or if they die, sadness. I don't think motherhood is specific to that, but I think every mother worries that their child could become a victim of that. Maybe that's because of movies. Because
sure.
I don't think my mother thought about that too often.
Yeah. You don't think so?
Not really. I think she mostly figured we'd walk out the door and come home every day.
Oh, sure. I suppose this is one of those moments where we could say, a different time.
A different time. Of course, look, if that survey was done when it was done, clearly, mothers felt the same way.
I'm curious, what's your, and we can think about it in terms of movies or anything, but what's your relationship with crying in your life?
Oh, crying. I cry easily, I'd say. I can remember crying when I was a child. Maybe it's different for girls. I had no problem crying. As a teenager, that's when I think you start trying not to cry.
Mm.
Having gone to a parochial school, I don't feel like you didn't get a lot of, hugs for crying. It was, I think, I think they pretty much just expect you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Emotional bootstrap pulling.
Yeah.
For our listeners, break down parochial school.
Okay. I went to Catholic school for 8 years. We had the Order of the Sisters of St. Joseph, who at the time were a tough bunch. They were the the black habit with the tight white. I can't think of the word for it. Crownish thing they wore on their head. I can't think of that word. I can't think of the word. They were a tough bunch. They were not all mean, but there were. As an adult, I think I figured out that nuns at the time became nuns because they felt that calling, but the job they did with their lives after that was not necessarily their choice. I think there were nuns that did not and should not have been teachers, but were given that duty. So, just like regular lay teachers, you run the gamut of teachers that are wonderful teachers who seem perfectly suited for it. And then kind of have the crazy ones that are unhappy and you're just right there in their line of sight all day long. So, yes.
Oh, sure.
And crying was not uncommon. And, even the boys would cry. But, Irish Catholic upbringing, as were many of my classmates and other various Italian American. I'd say that was the biggest combination of backgrounds in school. We had a tough bunch of immigrants as parents.
And where did you go to school?
My school's name was St. Rose of Lima in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And I have to say, I mean, I have fond memories of a lot of it, and I have stayed in touch with some people who have tremendously fond memories of it. So I don't think everybody's experience was the same.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think the girls fared better. We didn't have
really?
We didn't have boys until the 4th grade. Before that, the brothers, they call them the brothers. They were like priests, but they weren't priests. Don't ask me the difference. They had a separate school, and then they blended the boys and girls together in 4th grade.
And were the nuns, were they ever the cause of tears?
Yes.
Okay, that tracks.
Yes, very much. They could give you some punishments. I mean, not necessarily physical, but
yeah. But they could dole it out spiritually and psychologically.
Yeah, pretty much. I know this sounds terrible. It's going to sound terrible to people, but it was a different time. It was a different time, and
well, yeah, and you're right there. When you join the Catholic Church, like the literal entity, like you're getting assignments on what to go do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. And I think you're right. Also, with just teachers in general, you get the full breadth of teachers throughout your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think at the time, you had to recognize that for a lot of parents, grandparents included, nuns and priests were kind of like the pipeline. It's straight to Jesus, so to God, So they got a lot of what they said had a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, kind of like Cretans of the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
What about your mom and dad? Were they criers as far as you remember?
My mother would cry occasionally. My mother would cry. I don't think I ever saw my father cry. I'm sure I never saw him cry.
That's a familiar refrain I've heard before. People saying they've never seen their dad cry.
Yeah, I would say I saw him sad and I saw him distressed, but I never saw anything close to tears.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, he was raised on a farm. There wasn't a lot of tears.
And where was he raised on a farm?
Both of my parents were raised in Ireland, not in the same parts of Ireland. My mother was raised in Longford County and my father was raised in Kilkenny. And both grew up on farms, not wealthy by any stretch, big families.
Yeah.
So, life was tougher. So, they had, and plus they were also up against, a different society when they moved here. They met here. They met in the States. They did not meet in Ireland. They came here in separate, arrangements, and they met in Brooklyn.
Yeah. They met in Brooklyn.
They met in Brooklyn.
And then you were the first to come along.
No, I'm a second.
Second to come along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And do you ever remember, did you ever go to the movies with them?
When we were children, there was actually a movie theater within walking distance. And I'm sure we went to see some of the whatever kid type movies were out back then. I remember going to see like King Kong, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, and I do remember my father taking us. I don't know what my mother was doing, but my father took the three of us to the movies, and it turned out that it was an R movie. He didn't realize it. So, that was never spoken of again.
Okay, but did you stay through the whole thing?
remember staying. I don't think he really just didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
But I remember him taking us to some other movies. And my mom took us to the movies. But not, I don't know. I remember movies like King Kong and Godzilla and I think some scary movies. I don't think they realized, what I think the same thing as like my experience with this movie. They would go in cold. No idea what a movie was about. And I think if, I don't even remember, like I call it an R movie because that's what I would call it now. But I don't even know if they had the rating system when my dad did that.
Oh, yeah. It's possible that they didn't, or that it was very different.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think if I remember, I think Steve McQueen was in it. So that's the only thing I can really remember about it. But I remember I could tell he was very disturbed by what was on the film at the theater.
What year do you think this was around?
Oh gosh, I think we were young. I don't know. I can't imagine us being more than like 6 or 7 or something, 5 or 6. And I think it stands out because I remember I don't think he really knew what to do, like to leave or what he should do. But he realized that this was not a child's movie.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, so then if you're out, so it could have been, man, Steve McQueen was doing a lot of movies.
He was doing, I remember he was doing, I remember that now.
A lot of war stuff. Could have been Hell is for Heroes, The War Lover,
I don't know.
The Great Escape.
Think about, was there like a detective movie or something? I don't know why that kind of rings a bell. Was he a detective or something?
That is I'm sure he's probably been a detective.
No, because I could not tell you the exact year that happened. And I don't know, I don't know where my mother was because, she wasn't with us.
Yeah.
And it would have been unusual for him to take us ourselves. I remember him taking us to, there was a Halloween movie in the Monster Mash. That song was in it.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
and I don't know what year that was, but I remember him taking us to that because we all wanted to go and everybody was going to see it. And I guess my mother was like, you take them. So, I don't know. I don't know that we had a lot of, they used to have on TV the movies of the week. It was called Movie of the Week, the Friday night movie of the week, or the Saturday night movie of the week. And I remember we watched a lot of those.
Okay.
We did. My dad was a big PBS person. So we would often have to watch whatever war movie they were showing.
Or
he
liked war movies.
Very much.
Yeah.
So we did. We might have gone to see war movies too, as well.
Yeah, that tracks per the results of that mass observation survey.
Yeah, that does.
Do you remember the first time that you either or maybe both cried at a movie or in the movie theater?
Oh my gosh. At a movie theater. I'd really have to give that some thought. I'm sure I cried for any Disney movie. I'm sure, but I don't remember going to the movie theater for those. I think back then, like they would show Cinderella on television, like live action.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of, I think I remember that happening. I'm trying to remember, Lassie probably. I think Lassie must have had a movie. I remember crying at Lassie. Lassie Come Home, maybe. Oh, okay. Benji.
Oh, Benji.
Benji.
Yeah.
I remember crying at Benji. See, I'm going with, probably Flipper.
Animals.
All animals. Because I don't think we would have seen, I can't really remember what other children movies would have even been available when we were young.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about it. Like you've told me some of the earliest movies I've cried at. But like my first memory, like the thing that I can remember on my own, the first movie I can remember crying at in theaters was Hardball with Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
But there's every chance that there were probably some before that I just can't recall.
Yeah, it's hard because they start to blend into TV.
Yeah.
Because it seems like so many things were series. Like Lassie was a TV series.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there were any Westerns or something. I don't know. But like we did not go to the movies a lot. I'll say that. Just because Saturday matinees, I think, would have been the biggest thing that we would do occasionally because they were cheaper. I think you could go to the movies and you see 2 movies for the price of 1.
Yeah, pretty good prices back then.
Yeah, pretty good prices. Yeah, and the theaters were packed. So yeah. But E.T., I remember that one.
Was that a tear-inducing movie?
E.T. Oh yeah. Oh, E.T. Yeah, I saw that with your dad. It was we were dating, I think. It was yeah. E.T. Phone Home. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. It's a great one.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And they've got the corresponding ride at Universal or Disney. I can never quite remember which is which.
Yeah. I think it. I don't remember which. It must have been Universal. But you went on that. I remember that was a fun ride.
It is a fun ride, and it was there when I went back with Jess, my wife, in 2012.
No kidding, it was still there?
Or 2013, yeah, it was still there. I remember we did the ride. It was one of the very short lines, and there were 3 teenagers either in front of us or behind us who reeked of weed, all going on the ET ride, which I thought, yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it was a fun ride.
Yeah, it was a fun ride.
Yeah. But I know that, we didn't, I don't know. I just don't really remember a whole lot of, I think the parent, the thing is, on Sundays, there used to be the Wide World of Disney or show. They would show movies on Sunday nights, those kind of movies like Parent Trap, and those types of movies. And so I guess to me, it sort of starts to blend with the movies I saw in the theaters. But as a child, we just didn't go to the movies that often.
Okay.
They cost money.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it absolutely does. Do you remember, so prior to Hamnet, can you think of the movie prior to Hamnet that made you cry?
Oh my gosh.
Or had it been a little while?
I'd have to give great thought to, other than the movies we saw with you, I can't even think of a movie that made me cry.
So it had maybe been a stretch.
It had been a stretch, yeah. Yeah. Maybe that, as I said, very unexpected movie. It was great to see a movie like that. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the movies we saw.
Oh yeah, I don't think I saw a bad one while I was home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
even the ones that weren't great, they were still, they were fun in some senses to watch.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going. I thought we'd go to the movies this weekend and didn't. So.
I know I've always got plans to, but hard to make it there.
So, what did you think overall? Like, I know you really loved it.
Hamnet?
Yeah,
I'd mentioned I thought it was really great, and I told you that I had because I didn't know if it was going to be a movie that I'd get a chance to see, because I wasn't sure if it would. It didn't look like it was coming out where we live, and then I was going to be visiting you guys, and it was kind of nearing the tail of its theatrical run. Like there were fewer show times, and it was one of those we kind of decided to see right before I left. So I'd done a lot of reading about it, and I told you I'd read a number of pieces about, that use of the song on the nature of daylight at the end. And so it affected my viewing of it because I knew it was coming. And I knew it was going to be really sad because I know that song. And it's just such a beautiful piece of music. So I kind of like tempered my reaction to the ending of Hamnet. I don't know why. I guess because I wanted to feel like, oh, you're not going to get me, and because we were in a theater. But ultimately, I thought like the movie was just so beautifully done. And I really felt like in the same way when we saw Marty Supreme, and I was like, wow, it's really a ton of great roles in it. I kind of felt like, oh, that's Timothée Chalamet's movie. I thought like Jessie Buckley in Hamnet had just done such a phenomenal job. And the ending, I think the ending of Hamnet was just like, I would like to watch it again, almost maybe more privately, so I could have that experience.
Yeah. There are several movies from your prior podcasts that I still want to watch, but but Jackie Zhao, like, can you recommend another of her movies? Do you think that she's done prior work that's similar or equal to?
You mean, the director of Hamnet?
Yeah.
Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, so of the ones, I think that you've seen Nomadland, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know The Writer is one that I liked. It's like a contemporary Western that she did. But if you're looking for another movie, it's not by Chloe Zhao, but it does star Paul Mescal, that I really, really love. Like one of my favorite movies ever. And that also made me cry. It would be After Sun.
After Sun? S-U-N or S-O-N?
AFTERSUN. After Sun was directed by Charlotte Wells. It's her first movie, her first full-length movie. And it is a movie that I've thought about all the time. It's always been on my mind since I've seen it a few years ago.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to take that recommendation.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get someone. I would love to discuss After Sun with somebody on the podcast.
Yeah, that's I'm glad we got to chat about this movie. I mean, I literally feel like we could have gone over it just almost frame by frame.
Yeah.
Because there's so much in it that is just, watching, Will, you'd almost think he was really descending into madness as he was preparing, right? And then for her to think it's a comedy and she had the disdain for him being able to write a comedy at that time in his life, and then to find out it was a tragedy, I think is what took her to the theater.
Yeah, I know. She becomes so kind of resentful of him for like him being gone and pouring himself into his work while he's away. I think like very much feeling like she's alone in the grieving process, only to have that moment in the theater and kind of realize like, oh, he has been struggling with it in his own way.
Right. Well, in the very beginning, he tells her he has trouble talking to people. So he tells her story.
Yeah.
So at the end, that was his way of expressing his grief. To me, that's how I saw it. His expression of grief, and because he couldn't express it any other way. And he was so full of something that, that was driving him to write, you could see where, like I said, I mean, if you didn't realize what he was mumbling, you would think he was probably going mad. Like he was, mumbling his dialogue that was going to be in the play. It was, it was a nice way to connect it, his inability to talk to people Although, didn't really see like that in the movie, but
Well,
but he felt he was unable to express things to people.
yeah. I think even us talking about it has me wanting to watch it again, and probably show it to Jess.
Oh, yeah, she needs to see it. I mean, when she sees Agnes in the theater, her process of going from confusion to basically rage to understanding and becoming entranced with the character is really, she does a tremendous job doing that. I mean, she just really, there's moments like that through the whole movie. When he comes on stage as, Hamlet's father is Death. That was also, tremendous scene. It was, we could go through every part of that movie and I'd have something to say.
It is absolutely filled with tremendous scenes.
Yeah. It's been nice to talk about it. I think, I wouldn't mind talking about, Marty Supreme too. That was really quite a movie. Have you talked to anybody about that yet?
I have not, because I don't know if it may have been a scenario to where maybe Houston did have it around Christmas time. And I don't actually know if maybe our theater around here has it.
Well, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who's seen it yet.
Yeah. I think that's been my experience too.
But I guess, ping pong or table tennis, I guess, which one's going to go see it, right?
Yeah. Another movie to where I just didn't really know much the only thing I knew going in was Timothée Chalamet ping pong. So also had a very big discovery process while watching it.
Yeah. Well, also Dime I Love, honestly. Didn't know anything about that movie.
Oh, yeah. That's quite a movie that I had mixed feelings about upon watching it, but I've still thought about since seeing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You have to have mixed feelings about it. It's pretty intense.
Very intense. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
well, good. I'm glad we could talk about Hamnet.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed seeing it with y'all. I was so glad I made it there in time.
I know, barely. Yeah. Barely so.
Yeah, and I wish I could have seen. I mean, I was crying, so I wasn't particularly looking around to see if anybody else was crying.
Yeah, I didn't look. I stayed stock still, but I could hear around me.
Yeah, it was truly a wonderful film, and I hope I hope people enjoy it the same way. The music is wonderful. Cinematography is wonderful.
Oh yeah.
I think the sets, just beautiful.
I think it might very well make a splash with awards.
I hope so. I'm sorry that I feel like we've been so low key on this, but I guess it's hard to be anything else with this kind of movie because of the storyline. Agnes was, I don't know historically if Agnes was that kind of person, I mean, you'd like to think she was at least partly that kind of woman of the time, because I think she was older than him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she was. I think my assumption is that the fact that there were people with these names is that's kind of the base level historical truth in it. And then everything else is artistic license. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think the record keeping back then was even so good. I mean, they can come up with names and birthdays and marriage dates, birth of children. They were, very good at keeping those records even then.
Yeah.
But if your church burned down, you were done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess luckily we were able to experience at least part of the story as being historically accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Not Crying is a production of Wildborough Studio. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.